episode of LivTalks, bringing tour guides to your homes tonight at 9:15 p.m. Rome time. Whether you're watching the live version or recorded version, we have Silvia Palermo, our wonderful, generous, beautiful Silvia, who's going to help us climb the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. How you doing, Silvia?
Fine. Very, very good. You?
I told you to bring a drink. What did you bring?
Yes. I brought a digestive, which is called nocino, made with walnuts. And as I mentioned before, there's a legal distillery here in my house. Don't tell anyone.
So you made a liqueur out of walnuts directly in your house, and you use it to close your dinner, to close your meal.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we'll cheers at the end. It'll be 10 p.m. our time. Give us a few things about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the subject.
I'm an art historian. So this is my background, and I've been working as a tour guide for 3 years, even if I've been working in the tourism sector for 6 years. So 3 years ago, I decided to, to change something in my life, but not out of the blue, because I have this background. So I have a bachelor degree in cultural heritage and master degree in art history.
Cultural heritage, art history, has been in tourism for 6 years, and is going to tell us the wonders of one of the most famous landmarks. All right, I don't want to play that again. Of Rome, climbing the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. LivTalks with Silvia. All right, let's go. Here's the first picture you chose. Yes,
this is the first picture. Actually, when I was thinking about a topic, I was, thinking about the tours. We do, and I do, and in 2019, I climbed the dome almost 30 times. And you may think, okay, what's the new thing in this? The fact is that to climb the dome, you have to climb 551 steps, which is something. And so it's worth it, because when you reach the top, there's a beautiful, a great view of the city of Rome. And so also I was thinking about the, the reaction of the, of the clients, of the tourists that climb with me. And every time there's, something different in their, in their reaction. So that's why I chose these, this tour and this topic. And yes, this is the first picture. And honestly, we can climb all the 551 steps, but of course you can imagine that not everybody can, climb at the same pace. So, or yes, they can manage. So we can skip the first 221 steps using the elevator. And even if you use the elevator, this is the first, the first stop, and this is the first terrace that we reach, which is inside the Basilica. So first stop is the interior part of the Basilica and the dome. And the reaction here is, oh my God. Yes, wow. And I picked this picture because you see that the terrace here is very, is narrow. The path is very narrow and is protected by a gate. So anyways, no, don't be scared. But this is 53 meters high. So it's 173 feet. Which is nothing if you consider that the height of the dome is 133 meters. So the last stop will be up to 133 meters, which corresponds to 436 feet, okay? But the first reaction is, okay, wow, oh my God. And some people, they stand against the walls because they're scared. But, this is the first reaction. And the terrace here goes all the way around, and the gate as well goes all the way around. We cannot walk all the way around, but just on this side. And you see these guys taking pictures of the, the cupola of the dome. And the first another reaction is to look up. Okay, not just to look down, but is to look up. In the next picture, we will see that better. Also, I picked this picture because to the left I don't know if you can use the
Yeah, I'm
thanks, the
pointing.
indicator. Yes, to the left you can see the decoration of the cupola, of the dome, and also the decoration of the the basilica is something that the tourists, the clients, they notice. That is not a fresco. There's no frescoes in the basilica or in the dome. That is mosaic. And you can see that closely. So you can do that here, just here, talking about the dome, of course. And the mosaic is a very ancient technique, and it's a very rich technique. It's a very even expensive technique. So also you have an idea how much they spent decorating the dome and also the basilica. Up there you can see that there's windows. In this picture we can see just 2 of them, but there's 16 windows that go all the way around. And there's always light, there's always light entering those windows, even if outside is it's pretty this bad weather. So you have these this light that emphasizes everything you see. And yeah,
Just to make people understand, so that where they are, where they've reached when they've come to this railway that goes around for, I think if I remember correctly, about a third of the full circle. You've gone up an elevator. If you didn't decide to do the 221 steps, you are at on the roof of the basilica. And finally, then you enter what would be called the drum, the tamburo, the drum section of the dome, which then rounds and becomes the cupola, the dome. So this is the bottom of the drum, and the drum is composed of this tall wall, which is, I mean, this woman seems to be about a third of the height of this mosaic wall. And then on top of that would be the windows, which are visible from St. Peter's Square. And then on top of that is the curve.
There's the curve of the dome, exactly.
So the magnitude of this is enormous. And when I tell you that this woman, when we tell you that this woman is a third of the size of the wall that comprises the mosaic, Silvia, correct me if I'm wrong, a mosaic piece would be probably in this mosaic about this big, right?
Teeny. Yeah, every single marble piece is teeny tiny. So that's why you cannot have the perception that that is a mosaic.
That
so
is
it looks
mosaic,
like a fresco.
exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a fresco. A fresco, we know, is a flat. Is a flat decoration. And so yes, you have the chance to see, this technique closely.
Let's go to the next picture.
Yeah.
So this is the view of the dome from the tamburo, from
the drum. Yes, exactly. So if you look up, you see this. Okay, and so this is the curve of the dome, and this is the decoration of the dome. Just to tell you something about the plan. When this dome was planned very quickly, because the story is very long. It took 80 years to plan, the dome. The beginning of the 1500s, when they were thinking about to redone the basilica, that's when they thought about the dome. So the dome didn't exist before. And what was the idea back then was to, to have the, let's say, the cherry on the cake. So to have a symbol, that had to be a symbol for everyone who was coming to Rome. As, we call that the lantern, lighthouse. And it worked, because even today, right, for us, for Italians and for Romans, the dome is visible from everywhere. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's reassuring to see the dome of St. Peter, right? And it's illuminated at night, right? So it's visible, it's more visible, from everywhere. So basically, it's our skyscraper. We don't have skyscrapers in Rome. It's very difficult to have them. We know why. When we dig out, we find stuff. So yes, it's the highest point. It's the highest point of the city, and that was was the plan. The architect that thought about the dome was Donato Bramante, but it was just the first one. After him, it was Raphael, Antonio da Sangallo. I could mention all of them. You will never remember them. But in the 1500s, when this was planned, these people, they thought that it could be the job, of their life. And they changed the plan many, many times. But Bramante's plan was a very good one. It was looking at the most important examples in terms of buildings and structures that they could see. One of them is the Pantheon that you can see in the city center. The dome of the Pantheon is 43 meters. The diameter is 43 meters. And it was also looking at the dome of Florence, the Santa Maria del Fiore, made just a few years before in the 1400s. And so those were the examples. Bramante planned 4 big pillars that needed to support this big dome. He didn't make it because he died before, and so after 50 years there was Michelangelo. So I think you will remember Michelangelo.
Yeah, how many years later?
50 years, almost 47.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Was this part of the basilica roofless during these 50 years?
No, almost. Almost. There was another basilica before, a basilica made in the 4th century AD, and was literally falling into pieces. And so there was not a dome, there was not a cupola. And so they decided to start, the demolition of the ancient basilica to make a new one, and the new one supposed to have the dome. And so Bramante was also called Mastro Ruinante. That sounds nice in Italian because there's the rhyme. In English, I would say the master of the demolition. So he started the demolition of the basilica. Was not happy to do that, but as I mentioned, that was the job. Could be the job of the life. And at the same time, he was planning the dome. 50 years later, there was Michelangelo. Michelangelo at that time, he was 71. We know that he died at 89, so he was considered an old man already. At 71, he said, "Okay, I'm doing this. I will take the job." And he reconsidered the plan of Bramante. It was a good one. Just according with him, the plan needed to be changed a little bit. He reinforced the 4 pillars, and then he made not 1 but 2 domes. We will see these later looking at the other pictures. So actually we have 2 domes, but not just 1. This is the interior one, so that's why I picked this picture, because we can see the interior dome, which is considered actually the real dome. The decoration is pretty beautiful, even if we know that Michelangelo, according with Michelangelo, the entire Basilica of St. Peter and especially the dome, they needed to have a very, modest and humble decoration. But the popes at that time, they said, "Okay, no worries, we'll just plan the dome, and then we're gonna take care of the decorations." The popes, they wanted something, special. They wanted something rich, and so they decided to decorate that like this. This is mosaic too, so that's why I chose the picture. Also because from here, you cannot see the teeny tiny tesserae we talked about before. No, it looks like a fresco, but everything is made with marbles.
Marble and gold? Is that gold or what?
Actually, it's gold, but also there's also pigments that were used on the tesserae, so on the marbles. And of course, this was used to also to emphasize the colors, to give the chance to the light that enters from the windows to emphasize the colors. So this is considered an hymn to the Lord, and the light is something that is always involved in these things.
Yeah. You see it clearly how the gold is reflecting the light and making the other colors much more alive. So the effect is beautiful on these
Yeah,
Sort of, they look
yes.
like orange peels, if I may, in a way. Good. Here's your next picture. So this looks like a down view, huh?
Yes, a down view. So when you look up, you look at the the dome, and then when you look down, you see just a very small part of the basilica. The basilica is pretty big too, and they say that covers the area of 3 football fields. So here you see just a part, of those 3 football fields. As they say, can fit 60,000 people. So it's pretty big. And I picked this picture because from the terrace, you see the place where the Pope can sit is right there at the back, where you see that, those rays, of light, with that glass, with the, with the symbol of the Holy Spirit. So yes, that is the seat of the Pope. And you can also see from here 2 of the 4 pillars I was talking about. Yes, that's the one. And the other one is to the right, exactly. So there's 2 more on this side. So basically, when you reach the terrace, you are above the other 2 pillars. They're pretty big. To support a dome of that dimension, 40,000 tons, by the way. They had to be big. And it's nice because you can also see the floor, the floor of the of the basilica, and there you realize that is made of marbles as well, so you can see them a little bit better. It's more clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this picture right here. It looks like a maze.
Yeah, so we can skip the first 221 steps, but afterwards you have to climb. Okay, so this is when we start, climbing the last 320 steps. And I picked this picture because it's from here you can understand what I meant before. So the 2 domes. To the right, we have the wall of the internal dome, and to the left, the wall of the external dome. Exactly, so it's leaning. So you see that the stairs, they're straight stairs, but at the top, they make a curve. So basically the stairs are following the shape of the dome. And when the people, they see the stairs, their reaction is, okay, where are we going? So are we using these stairs? The answer is yes. We have to use the stairs. It's the only way to go up. And they always ask, okay, are we using the same stairs to go down? The answer is no worries, because there's one way up and one way down. So yes, they're literally following the shape of the dome. So basically to climb, we use the right-hand stairs, so the right-hand side of the dome, and to go down the left-hand side. It would be impossible to climb, together,
together to do it 2 ways.
Yes, you need to be in line. Yeah.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a few years since I've done it last, but even though the stairs are straight, or I should say parallel to the floor as much as they can be, however, the 2 walls are diagonal, crooked, it really kind of makes you lose a sense of balance. And you do feel a little bit like gravity is pushing you towards the inside.
Yeah. Yes, in fact. And not when you climb, but when you go down. When you go down, there's that, there's that feeling. That's why when we climb, usually we do that at a very, not fast pace, because it's impossible, but especially when we go down, we need to go downstairs. We cannot go so fast, and because there's this feeling that the gravity pushes you against
against the inner wall.
Yes.
Is it warm in here? Is it hot?
Very, very hot. So in summer, it's very hot. In fact, if you look at the top of these, of these stairs, there's a kind of, light. Yes. So there's windows, here and there, and so sometimes we have to stop you know, some people,
Get
they
some
have
air.
to stop. Yeah. So you stand aside, you know, you leave the passage for the other people, and you know, you take, you know, a breath. And you know, you can also you know, have an idea of the view, because of course those windows that they give on, you know, to the outside, onto the outside. And but it's hot. It's very, very hot in summer. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, there. That's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, spoiler. Yeah, this
Sorry.
is the spoiler. No, no worries. But yes, you know, that's why I chose this picture, because here the, you know, the walls, they are leaning, and it's interesting because you see these people, they are, you know, trying to maintain, you know, the balance, helping, you know, themselves to walk using the walls. So they are, you know, opening their arms against the walls. You could feel also a little bit dizzy, because we don't have just, you know, those kind of stairs we saw before, but there's also spiral, you know, stairs. And this part doesn't have stairs, but it's just a small part without the stairs. After, there's other stairs, the last ones, that takes you to the, you know, to the top. But yes, even from here, you know, looking the picture from home, you know, it looks like you are okay. I feel the gravity. I feel the gravity that is pushing me against this wall. It's pretty narrow, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is very narrow. I see that it's covered with, I guess it's some sort of ceramic tiling. But what is the actual dome buildup? Is it concrete? Is it brick?
The inside, the interior with bricks.
The walls.
Outside, sorry, couldn't hear you.
The walls, yeah.
The walls, yes, bricks, and outside, the outer one is covered with lead. And we will see that better in another picture, but this was part of Michelangelo's plan. It was very clever. In order to protect the inner dome, he made the outer one made of lead, and lead, as other materials, expands with heat and retreats with cold. And so this is the idea, right? To protect the inner one by having the outer one. And,
very good. I'll go to the next one. So here it is, Her Majesty.
Here it is, yeah, Her Majesty, the dome, the cherry on the cake. And yes, you see the outside that is lead, and there's also these 16 ribs, I call them ribs, that are, you know, the real support, not just for the dome itself, but also for the top. So we can see the top, the lantern, you know, the lighthouse we were talking about. You know, I chose this picture because it's you know, very well visible, the terrace, so the top that we can reach after, you know, climbing all those steps. Yes, where you see the people. Even that terrace is pretty narrow, and goes all the way around. So in this case, so we can walk, you know, all the way around. It's protected by a gate, so it's safe. And when we reach the top, you know, you can imagine, right, the reaction of the people, scared but also overwhelmed, you know, by the view. This top part, so from the terrace we reach until the you know, the top, which is the cross, is 18 meters, which is 59, you know, more or less 60 feet. Until the 50s of the 1900s, it was possible to reach the other terrace, which is right above, but they decided to close it because it was too dangerous. And as you can see, it's not as big as the other one, as the lower one. So for safety reasons, they decided to close that. Would be, you know, amazing to reach that part, right? At least we could see the sphere with the cross, which were not visible from the place where we are. Yeah.
And these sort of pillars that you see right here around the last balcony terrace that goes around, are these some sort of candle holders?
Yes, yes, in fact, and until the 60s, there was people that used to climb the dome from outside, just using ropes. Was very dangerous, and they used to put candles everywhere. That was for special celebrations, like, for example, June 29th is important for us because we celebrate Peter and Paul, the patron saints of Rome. And I read actually a lot of articles and also witnesses about these celebrations. In the 17 and 1800s, there were people who came to Rome just to see, these events, and everyone says that it looked like the dome and the basilica, they were burning down. Can you imagine to put candles everywhere, and then you have to remove them? Many people, they died because, I mean, using ropes is not, so safe. So yeah, they decided to stop. But we're lucky because today we have the modern, illumination, so we can use that. The stairs, of course, so we saw before, and that we climb. Today they were used for, even for maintenance. So we can imagine that they used to reach the top even using those stairs. But yeah.
Just for laughs, it was a few years ago, they added this ultra protection on the terrace. I don't know if you can see it from the picture, people, but it is much taller than a human. And then there's also rods on top, and it sort of gates you like an animal gate or cage. But this was an addition made, if I recall correctly, about 4 or 5 years ago, not longer than that. And it was a subsequence to a man, and I watched the man do it, climbing over the rail, which was not much taller than your shoulder. So it was actually quite easy to climb over it, and letting himself down the dome and sitting on one of these windows as a sign of protest to the Italian government, not to the Vatican. And he did it twice. On the second attempt, they finally decided to cage the terrace.
To close that. And yes, even that part is pretty narrow, so you have to conquer, your spots.
You have to conquer your spot. You see this?
You see this, yes. This is the, the square of St. Peter. And yes, it's pretty amazing. So you can see very well how big, is this place. Not just the basilica, not just the dome, but also the square. As they say, the square can feed at the maximum capacity 300,000 people. I don't know if it's true. Maybe, I don't know. But I remember that when John Paul II died, there was a line for 6 hours there, and there was an ocean of people. So maybe it's true. And you can see very well the colonnade, the famous colonnade of St. Peter, made by Gian Lorenzo Bernini in the 50s of the 1600s. And from here you can see that it looks like the square is embracing you, right? It's telling you, okay, come here, yes, and visit us, and enter. It has an elliptic shape, and there's also the big boulevard that connects the the square with the river, yes, and Castel Sant'Angelo, which is right there, yes, at the back. And you see the obelisk too, which is in the middle of the square. And yes, I see that there's the stairs, that they they put there during the audiences of the Pope every Wednesday morning. Yeah, this is a typical sunny day in Rome.
Well,
summertime.
Did you take this picture?
Excuse me?
Did you take this picture?
No, I didn't.
Because from the sort of fogginess that I see and the amount of people lining up, I don't know if people can see it right here on the left-hand side. The line goes from the end of the left-hand side colonnade all the way through in where the metal detectors are. So that's quite a long line. However, it looks like a morning picture.
A morning picture, yes. Usually the line, this line is not so long, around 9:15. So yes, we reach the top usually at 9:15. We start this tour very early in the morning to skip, the line and to avoid the security check. So yes, I would say 9:15, maximum 9:30. But when we, we go down, so we leave the dome, the line that goes all the way around,
All the way
square,
around.
or all the way around to the square. Yes, it's pretty foggy, and it's not, it's the humidity, it's just because
Yeah, I know.
probably
Of
was
course.
yeah.
So, Silvia, I see a wall right here, right along the side, parallel to the large promenade called Via della Conciliazione. It looks like it comes all the way in. What is that?
That is the so-called passetto, and literally means, the narrow passage, I would say, and is basically a passageway, a secret one that the popes they used in case they were in danger during the attacks, during the invasions, and so connects the Apostolic Palace, which is right, to the left, to Castel Sant'Angelo, which is the fortress of the popes. Yes, thank you, you are pointing. Castel Sant'Angelo is a pretty ancient structure. It was a mausoleum, the tomb of the Emperor Adrian, and the popes, they reconverted that in a castle, in a fortress. So it's always been, the fortress of the popes. So when they were in danger, they used this passageway to avoid to leave the palace from downstairs, to use the streets, too dangerous. And they stay Castel Sant'Angelo years and years and years.
Let's go to the next picture.
I can also see the dome of the Pantheon, to the right, on the other side of the river. Right, yes, it's foggy, but I can see that.
Just to make people understand how much taller this place actually is.
Yes.
Let's go to the next pictures. We're a little bit over time, so let's get to this. Now, this looks like the inside of the Vatican State.
That is inside of the Vatican State. From the dome, you can see the citadel. I would say, the Vatican City State that covers more or less 19 hectares, which is 19 hectares, which is 49 acres more or less. And we're walking basically counterclockwise, and we can see here the Vatican museums. So what is amazing is that you can see the entire structure of the Vatican museums, which is which are pretty big. And so to the left you see the Pinacoteca. Yes, is the painting museum, and then to the right you see the galleries, gallerie, and that take you to the Sistine Chapel. So the Sistine Chapel is also visible, the outside of the structure is visible from the dome as well. So you understand that everything is connected.
And what is that hill at the very end right there? And what is that building on top of the hill? Is that Vatican?
No, that is not the Vatican. So thank you for asking, because basically the border of the Vatican State here is basically the museums. So it's the Vatican museums. And so beyond the Vatican museums, that's Rome. So the northern part of Rome, that is Monte Mario, if I'm not mistaken. So we're looking at north side of Rome. So all the other buildings, they are, where the Romans they live. And so you can see how small, is this state. It's considered one of the smallest ones in the world. And here you can see the gardens, just a portion of the gardens, and also the gardens are visitable too. And there's a lot of fountains, monuments, other buildings that are in the gardens. So there's you have to there's another must to do. To the left there's another structure that is the Vatican radio and the Vatican television. It's an independent state, so it has its own television, radio, train station, and the building of the government. So everything is in these small area. And
So just to give an idea to people, the Vatican State doesn't reach further than these pine trees.
Exactly.
And the antenna is almost at its border. So every building you see behind and to the horizon is Rome.
That is Rome.
Okay, let's go to the next picture.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, so you can see better the end of Via della Conciliazione. So we saw that long boulevard, that connects the square of St. Peter with the river Tiber and Castel Sant'Angelo. That road didn't exist till the 30s of the 1900s. It was made in 1 year, 1936, 1937 was the time when, soon after, the Vatican State and the Italian government signed the Laterani deal. That's basically through that they've recognized, each other, the power. And they recognized each other as independent, especially the Vatican needed that. And
so how old is the Vatican as an independent country? I mean, we've known the Vatican for centuries, but as you say it right now, it means it's quite a young state.
1929.
1929.
So less than 100 years, 1929. And so this street is called the Via della Conciliazione, to celebrate these this event. Conciliazione means reconciliation, if I'm correct in the translation. And so these not all the the Romans, especially even the Vatican citizens, they were they agreed with the building of this boulevard. But it was made for for traffic, and it was made also because during the celebrations it was functional. And to make this road, they had to destroy a lot of buildings that were there. So until the beginning of the last century, this road didn't exist. And
so there was a bunch of buildings here. You mean there was
a bunch of buildings? The people, they used to live there. And when they had to start the demolition of those buildings, the government gave those people other houses to live, and then they started the demolition because the purpose was to make this boulevard. Boulevard connects the Vatican with Castel Sant'Angelo, that now we can see that better, is to the left, and also with the bridge, which is in front of the castle, is the bridge, one of those many bridges that Rome has, because it's important and it's necessary to go, cross, the river, so to reach the other side. The Vatican State is on the left-hand side of the river, and it's Ponte Sant'Angelo, so the bridge of the angel, and walking through the bridge, we can go to the other side, which is considered the ancient, city area. And yeah, so this is the view, the amazing view that we can see from the top.
A zoomed version of the view. And just to let people know, this is not a picture taken during COVID-19 lockdown. Via della Conciliazione now is empty. There is no one there, as we have seen from the beautiful images of the Holy Father giving the Easter Mass, for example, where it was basically him and him alone, and just a couple of staff members and cameramen. So, Silvia, it was a pleasure spending an evening with you, talking about and reminiscing about the most beautiful church in the world, climbing the gorgeous and also hard to climb Dome of St. Peter's. I appreciate your generosity and your knowledge. I'll leave it up to you to wrap it up and say goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We've done our daily workout training virtually, of course, and it's come to to visit us so we can climb together and we can do other other things. And hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Take care and cheers.
Cheers. Buonasera, Silvia.
Buonasera.
Ciao,
ciao,
everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Bye,
Buonasera.
everybody. Ciao, ciao.